And then at some point she goes, how many social media followers have you got? I had about 1,000. She goes, what? You've only got 1,000? That's rubbish. That's what she said. That's a shit test. Total shit test.
Oh my God.
How do you know that she's shit testing you and not saying to you, get the fuck out of my space?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you how. Have you ever been out with your friends or whoever, and a guy comes and he approaches you, and this guy, he's just trying to win you over. He's trying to win over you. He's trying to win over your friend. He's trying to win over someone, and you guys give him a little bit of a hard time without directly telling him to go away. For instance, have you ever heard a friend say something like, "Oh, I don't date short guys," or "You're too old or too young to be talking to me," or "Why don't you buy me a drink," or "You're bald, you're a bit fat, you're too X, you're too Y"? Have you ever heard anything like that?
Yeah, I guess that has happened for sure.
Yeah? Right, that is what's known as a shit test. Now you'll then go, okay, so what actually is a shit test? So a shit test is something that is socially un-PC to talk about. It's very un-PC to talk about a shit test. But what it is essentially that a woman meets a guy and she's interested, but she's not completely sold. Okay? So like, some woman meets Leonardo DiCaprio or Brad Pitt or George Clooney or whoever the fuck is famous now. She's sold and she wants him. That's it. So she's not going to shit test him at all. Or you meet a homeless man on the street, and this homeless, smelly guy who hasn't washed in like 2 months, he's trying to pick you up. You're not interested at all, so you're not going to shit test him because you have no interest whatsoever. A shit test, it's a test. So I go for a job interview and they give me a test. It's like, if I pass the test, I go through to the next round. If I don't pass the test, I fail, and that's it. It's literally a test. And it's a test of a man's confidence to see if he is basically what he's portraying himself to be, and if he is what the woman needs. So usually what happens is, say for instance, the woman goes, like I remember I was talking to some girls actually near here. We're in Shoreditch. I was talking to some girls about 4 years ago, and there were like 2 girls, and they were both really pretty, whatever. And then at some point she goes, how many social media followers have you got? I had about 1,000. She goes, what? You've only got 1,000? That's rubbish. That's what she said. That's a shit test. Total shit test.
Oh my God.
The way you can tell it's a shit test is, right? Number 1, it's said with a smile. Right? Number 2, she looks bitchy. Number 3, if you played it back on TV in public, would she be embarrassed by what she said? Like, yeah, like, why did you just try to shame this guy about how many social media followers he had? But that's not it. What it is, it's a test. And if I go, what? Why would you even say that to me? That's a really harsh thing to say. What the hell's wrong with you? If I say that, then I have shown that I have been hurt and offended by that thing, and then their interest will plummet. However, if I go, yeah, you know what? Nobody likes me. I've got no friends whatsoever. I'm just not a cool person, but that is it. And then you carry on the conversation, you have completely passed. Because it wasn't really about the thing that she said. It's just like a little test. So I guess I don't really know where I want to go with this, but I'm just curious. Like, after I've said this to you, and I'm like trying to speak directly into the mic, so I'm not really making eye contact, and it feels kind of weird. What are your thoughts or experiences? Like, does any of this resonate with you at all? Because in the world that I'm a part of, shit tests are a thing. So I have clients asking me all the time, like, oh, was this a shit test or was that a shit test? Or some guy will have like a text interaction with a girl. It's like, oh, was this a shit test? Or no, that was a shit test and that wasn't a shit test, blah, 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 blah. But the world at large has no real idea of what it is. So what are your thoughts now based on what I have said?
I can't really, I mean, if I'm being honest, there is not really any time that I can think back of that I ever did that to a guy consciously.
Never. Well, no, but shit tests aren't conscious.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So it's probably happened, but subconsciously, you know, so it's not something that I could pick up and be like, oh yeah, I said that specifically because I wanted to test him, you know.
There's a friend of yours that I have right now in my mind. And if there's a gun to your head, you can probably imagine what I'm talking about. You've never been out with this girl, and then some guy approaches, and then she's like she's been all fine and lovey-dovey with you, and then she's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Da, 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 da. Or some guy's talking to you and she's like, giving him stick because he's talking to you and it's like, who are you trying to invade on our private girl time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the question?
I don't know. Just want to talk about shit tests in general. Like,
Okay.
that's it. But you know what? Maybe there is nothing to say, because if it's a subconscious thing that women do, and there's tons of like references of it, it's a very real thing.
Yeah.
It's an incredibly real thing. She's interested, but she's not sold. If she's completely sold, there's no shit test, right? So if she's like, wow, this guy's amazing, oh my God, no shit test. If she views you as beneath her, she ain't gonna shit test it. The test is like, maybe, it's when you're in that kind of category. But if you don't have any experience of it, then there's nothing really I can say to you. But what I'll say to the guys watching is this: the man who's watching almost certainly is aware of the fact that these tests do exist. And when I was growing up, it's like there were times when women tested me, but I didn't realize what was going on, and I just thought, hold on, I've been nice to you, now you're being a bitch, and that made me really angry. Where shit tests are concerned, as I said, it's basically a test of your confidence, and what you want to do is show that it rolled off your back like water from a duck. For instance, let's say now me and you are walking through the street and some man who is 6'9" tall and a wall of solid muscle, right, comes up to you and slaps you on the backside. Now, as a man, it's my job to protect you. If I don't protect you, I'm a loser, I'm a pussy, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to get wet for me ever again. So I have to step up in that moment and do something. As a result, I'm either going to fear anger or fear. One of the two. I'm either going to get angry, right? Of course, anger actually comes from fear anyway, but I'm going to want to fight him, or I'm going to be scared and I'm going to want to run away. On the flip side, let's say now that some guy who is about 3 foot tall does the same thing, and he's like built like a stick. He slaps you in the butt. I'm now laughing. Yeah, I don't care anymore. It's the same action. They both had the same intent, right? The 6'9" guy wants to bed you and beat the crap out of me. The 3 foot tall guy wants to bed you and beat the crap out of me. Why am I laughing at the 3 foot tall guy? Why?
Well, because you feel like you're better than the people.
Yeah, exactly. That's it, right? That is it. And anybody who was watching would see me laughing and they'd be like, Kieran's got this handled. There's nothing to fear. Look at how Kieran is handling this situation. That's how you need to treat shit tests. So there's a lot of things that people speak about where shit tests are concerned, where they go, agree and amplify. Right, that's one. So agree and amplify basically means that you would go, you're too old. And I'd be like, yeah, I am really old. I'm literally like your granddaddy. There you go. Like, yeah, I'm like your granddaddy. Or there's like disagree, but in an exaggerated way, which will be like, what? No, I'm not old. I'm literally like 4 years old. The heck are you talking about? I'm literally still wearing nappies right now. I'm wearing diapers. In what universe do you think I'm old? There's like that. And there's a couple others as well. But fundamentally, what it basically means is that you have to show that it rolled off your back like water from a duck. For instance, when we did the last podcast now, which one was it? We did a podcast together and then you were attacking me, and then I was like, you know what, guys? Sometimes in your life, women are going to try and bring you down and they're going to try and hurt you.
I remember that.
Yeah, they're going to try and bring you down and they're going to hurt you. And you know, you just have to let it go, because I was like, my mommy raised me to believe I'm a strong person and I'm not going to let you hurt my shine. That is essentially it. But then as men, we then go, okay, so what actually is a shit test and what isn't a shit test? How do you know that she's shit testing you and not saying to you, get the fuck out of my space? And I'll tell you how. All right, so a shit test is usually said with a smile. So if a woman genuinely thinks, here's the thing, if a woman genuinely thinks you're too old, 9 times out of 10, she's not going to tell you that she thinks you're too old. She's just going to be like, you know, get the hell out, blah, blah, blah. So if she's actively telling you the thing that she believes makes you unsuitable, it's most likely a test. That's number one. But also number 2, shit tests are usually said, like I said before, with a smile. For instance, yeah, so I don't really date short guys. Like, rare is the person who is consciously gonna like look at someone and smile and go, "You're sure? I'm not gonna date you." Then it's a test. If when you're not being tested, that's when like they're not happy. Like if she genuinely looks annoyed, like get the hell out of here. That's not a test. It's not a test at all. That's not a test, right? If she genuinely seems offended, it's not a test. But if she looks like a bitch, like I say, let me explain what I mean when I say looks like a bitch. You know, like you see mean girls, right? And then they're saying mean stuff to that girl, but like they're smiling. It's like, why would you say that to a person? Like, this is a human being, right? And it's like, I'm saying harsh stuff to you, and like that's the test, right? When she's saying something, but there's a smile, that's it. If she's saying harsh stuff to you and she's not smiling, she really believes what she's saying, get the fuck out of here, right? But if she's smiling, then it's a test. Let it roll off your back like water from a duck. And it's like, all right, so how do I do that? And again, just like, it is whatever. For instance, you know what one example of a shit test is? I've got a boyfriend. That's one example. Now here's the thing, there are times when women do have boyfriends, that is true, but there are times when they don't and they just throw it out there. So then in that example, you might go something like, yeah, you know what, I do too, but I won't tell him if you won't tell yours. And then you just carry on the conversation. Now, if it was a test, then she'll go, oh. And then the conversation continues. If it's not a test, she's like, no, dude, I've got a boyfriend. Yeah. No, bro, I've got a boyfriend, right? Go away. I'm meeting him now. He's on his way, right? I have a boyfriend. But if she doesn't, and then like the conversation keeps going. So you just keep it moving. You don't take it seriously, which is what we as guys do. We take things seriously, whereas we don't really have to. And I believe, yeah, I think this is. Looking at yourself. I am looking at myself. You know what I'm thinking, right? What? Honestly, I'm looking.
I look so handsome.
No, I'm looking at myself. I'm like, bro, I look skinny. I look skinny. Like, this is me at my skinniest. That's what I'm thinking.
But it's also the shirt, though.
It is, but still, I should be filling out this shirt. Like, I don't identify as a skinny guy. No, I don't. But anyway, do you have any questions beyond my physical appearance about shit tests or any thoughts or anything like that?
No.
No? You're done.
But.
Right.